Hey, what's going on, guys? What's so grand about it? I think it's more grand in the scope of it's big rather than it's great. I don't know. It's just that's the name of the show. Let's go on Turnip. Anyway, we're gonna do a little bit of the Grand Tour game. Well, maybe come back to it. Another bounty. That and it seemed like as we went on, the things got better and better. It seemed like the first two seasons were more, they were just kind of there-ish, and then the third season actually had like cool things like the, what do you call it? The jungles and shit. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, if I'm not liking it, I can not play it. I mean, there's no reason why I gotta force myself to play it or anything. But I don't know. But switching into this, I just realized the theme I have on my PlayStation is actually playing music. A nice Red Dead theme, huh? But anyway, where is? There it is. Oh, it just stops. Okay. No fade out, but anyway, yeah, we'll do this for a bit. Maybe some Factorio later. I don't know. The weirdest people retweet things. Oh my god, how does this person have that as their Twitch logo? What the fuck? Their fucking Twitch logo. It's Dexter's mom, but she doesn't have any pants on. How is that possible? What the fuck are people thinking, dude? Like, it's not just like flesh-colored pants. Like, they're leaning over a table or something. The Lotus Evora is now available. Well, I did that last time. Yeah, I'm already linked, but... Anyway, this is Grand Tour, as we discussed last time. Well, we'll hop right into it. Let's see. Our three heroes argue over who has the best pickup truck. Perfect excuse to tote statues of hated dictators, fire automatic weapons from moving vehicles, and race across country with 50-gallon drums of jet fuel sloshing around their truck beds. This is going to turn into a shooter. That'd be kind of cool.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello. Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome. Now, coming up in today's show, James wears glasses. I pretend to be a dog. And a terrorist eats a savoury snack. Got everything there. Thank you. Now, throughout the developing world, people have, for many years, used Japanese-made pickup trucks.
Yes, but now European car makers have decided they want a piece of the action, so they've come up with pickup trucks of their own.
Yes, they have. And to find out if they're any good, this week we take the Grand Tour on a journey through history.
It's going
We begin in the Middle Ages, which meant going to Richard Hammond's garden.
The hell is this show?
In parts of the globe where there's no mains water or electricity, a pickup truck has to be more than just transport for plague victims and livestock. That's why James has turned his Mercedes X-Class into a power station, using its rear axle to make electricity for the village. Richard, meanwhile, was using his Ford Ranger as a tractor, pulling a plough. And I was using this Volkswagen Amarok as an irrigation system. I'm using it to drive a pump which will deliver nourishment from the well to the community allotment. In fact, yeah, I can hear the water coming now above the smooth turbocharged throb of my V6 diesel.
Clarkson! Turn the car off! What was that? Oh dear.
And there, and there, and I've done my neck in.
This is supposed to be a demonstration of the utility of pickup trucks.
We've done it, we've proved all three of them.
Yeah, no, I have. I've sawn 3 pieces of wood for a fence. Hammond's ploughed 4 furrows for growing things in. You have only subtracted from this community. I think you've slightly missed the point.
Why do you always have to overdo everything? I mean,
You can shut up,
why?
because it's supposed to be a test of European pickup trucks.
And it's European.
Well, yes, apart from the fact that it was designed in Australia and it's built in South Africa.
What about the engine?
That's made in Turkey.
That's European.
Well, a bit of it is.
But look, let's not get bogged down with where Turkey is. What we've done is prove that all 3 of them work well when there is peace in the village in the developing world. What we must do now is find out how well they work when the peace comes to an end and there's a revolution.
When the revolution is over, it's important that all traces of the vile, hated dictator are eradicated. And that's why I'm attaching my Mercedes to this giant statue of Kim Jong Clarkson to see if I can pull it over.
It's not toxin. Yeah.
Right, here are the rules.
Coming
I have
back to
do
this game?
using the lowest
I don't know, it's pretty
revs
fun last time.
possible. So what I'm going to do is put it in 4-wheel drive low range, something Jeremy Clarkson can't do, first gear manual, and turn the traction control off. Here we go. Traction control, diff lock, down you come.
What's going on, Otter?
3, 2, 1.
How am I supposed to do that? What?
Yeah!
I was literally in the green like the whole time. It's all good, Frey.
He's gone!
That was just right on your dunk.
What a feeling!
Oh, I bet that did that. That was just.
That is in the face.
Yes.
By the whole earth.
Yes.
In the face. Do you see what happened to your nose? Look at it.
Yes. And now, it's your turn because...
Yeah, matesy tongue.
Oh, I gotta be this one too.
Time for your reign of terror to end.
3, 2, 1, go!
All right.
He's dragging you, he's taking you for a scrape.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that, Toxin. I don't know.
That's not odd, really.
I guess people who are fans of the show and just want something casual.
Nice one, Hammond. The scores so far then looked like this. James had used 2,100 RPM to topple me, whereas Hammond, despite his bigger engine, had to use 3,600 RPM to bring down May. And now it's time for me to win as I get rid of the last of the country's hated dictators, Dick Pot.
Yeah, Peppermint. I don't know. I mean, it's. I think the game's like $15. It's not like they're charging a high price for it, you know.
And there we are.
Oh, now come on.
Well, you shouldn't have built a life-size one. You are a man of modest stature.
Yeah, but it reflects my ego compared to yours.
Well, it's, proportional to the size of the tyranny.
I don't think I'm going to need low range.
You haven't got it.
Well, I know exactly. I don't need it. Lock the rear diff. There you go.
You'll need that.
Right, here we go. Ready?
Yes.
Taking up the slack.
There might be a really bad jolt, so be careful.
3, 2, 1, go. I've won another test. I've won both of them.
How have you worked that out?
Well, 600 RPM, okay? And I did the best in the village.
You destroyed the village.
Listen, let's not get bogged down with that. We must now move on to what typically happens in a country after the dictator is
Got it.
gone. With the government in disarray, we had to load all our worldly goods into our pickup trucks and prepare to run for our lives.
Is that a grandfather clock?
Else in the world has an iPod.
That has a record player.
I don't think
What's
you
you got a gramophone for?
It was my grandmother's. We're fleeing from rebel forces. You don't stand here doing a commentary. Get in your truck.
Are those their actual items? I wouldn't
Right.
empty out my
Nothing
house.
straightforward. Whichever one is the fastest from here to the flags there. Yes?
Yes.
Best at fleeing.
Yes, they're called. Yes, exactly right.
So it's a drag race?
It's a flea race.
It's a fleeing race.
A flea
let's flee then.
race.
Come on, let's go.
If you need to flee from government forces, you need an Amarok. 0 to 60, 8 seconds. That's hot hatchback territory. It's the fastest of the trio, the most powerful of the trio, and the lightest of the trio. Probably not now, but it was. 3, 2, 1, go. Roaring up. Speed is the answer.
I lost all his shit. Oh, that sucks.
My Lego.
Yeah, there are portions that are a bit more intense than this, but I mean, it's meant to be a companion to the show, you know? It's not meant to be a standalone game, I don't think.
This is our new life, chaps.
This is.
Lego, cream, and a shit record.
Well, you say that.
I'm going to start
I
again.
know we've got a chair.
You say that.
Oh, we're going to be all
I hope
right.
it
You
breaks.
literally think we're okay.
Oh, nice.
So let's just get this crystal clear. Okay, we haven't escaped with much, but the Volkswagen has now won all 3 tests.
Who decided that?
Me.
Yeah, but this isn't a dictatorship anymore.
We toppled the dictator.
Yeah, it's a democracy.
It was the fastest by a mile.
Yeah, it is.
It was easily the best at pulling over statues and the best at water irrigation.
No, And you
Best
may have
at
got
water
there first,
irrigation.
guaranteeing your survival, but you have no life. You
I've
have
got-
half a table and a mattress and the worst album in history.
really have
I
nothing
have got
left.
the
You call
contents
this
of
the
a home.
worst album?
The merits of the Yes album aside, the fact remained that with the country now in chaos, help is urgently needed.
Rip the grandma phone.
So, how would our commandeered trucks cope with their requirements?
Wait, can they show this on Twitch?
Quite well, actually. And now, if I may, I'd like to talk about the Jaguar XE, not your hair. It is a really very nice little car, if I'm honest. It's very good looking. It's not particularly expensive. It rides beautifully, very beautifully, in fact. And as a result of all that, people ignore it and buy a BMW instead. So, Jaguar went to its skunk works, which is based in a shed, and they said, could you make a fast version? One that will get everybody talking.
The standard low-cost procedure for turning a normal saloon into a sports saloon is to give it some fat tyres, a nice V6 engine, and maybe some bucket seats.
But the boffins at Jag decided to go a bit further than that.
Welcome everyone to what's called the Project 8. The first thing you need to know is that the only bits that these two cars have in common are the roof and the front doors. Everything else is changed.
Suspension? Oh yes, that was changed as well. It now has Bilstein dampers that cost £1,000 each.
Must wait.
Rose
Fun.
joints and ceramic wheel bearings, like you get on a race car.
Why is it covered in bubble wrap? What the fuck? Why is it covered in bubble wrap?
Holy
Shit. So when I crash it like that, it doesn't get hurt?
drive carefully. That's will do.
Can I go a bit faster? No!
Oh, good. Whoops.
How many laps am I doing? 2?
Oh, dearie me. Oh, no.
It's the same course as last time. I don't know why I can't do this course yet.
Oh, God. For God's sake. No.
Alright.
Ooh, I say that's rather good.
now we go on to the really fast bit. I am a wholesome man. Go!
They got the bubble wrap on in case they wanted to return it. Yeah.
It's quite scary through here. Oh!
No.
On top of all that, the 8-speed gearbox also needed beefing up. And
I
so did
think
the
they didn't
four-wheel
want the
drive
fucking
system.
rights in the game, so
And
they just
then
wrapped
they
it
had
in
to
bubble
get rid of
wrap.
the spare wheel and the well in which it sits to fit some underfloor aerodynamics.
I don't think I'm breaking
And then
enough,
when
to
they
be
added
honest.
up the cost of all the work they'd done, there was a problem. In order to make any money at all, the Project 8 would have to cost £150,000. That's 4 times more than the standard car. 4!
So, here's the question. How mad would you have to be to spend £150,000 on a car that was designed and built
Go
in
on,
a
man.
glorified shed in the Midlands?
I've been having fun playing it. I mean, I've never watched the show or Top Gear personally.
And the simple answer is not mad at all, because this car is fan-bleeding-tastic.
I actually got the game for free because it's part of a
I'll say that
bounty.
if you've got the car manually hunkered down and it's in track mode and the traction control is turned off, things can go a bit violent and bitey if you go beyond the limit.
Again, another bubble wrap car.
That's it, keep going, keep going.
All right, let's see. All right, let's reel it in a little bit, please.
Oh God, that looks tricky. Hello. Oh, God.
Fuck. 99%.
The answer is to stay within the limits, and in this car, that's no hardship. At normal road speeds with the car in comfort or even dynamic mode, it's as quiet and as
Dynamic
civilized
mode?
as a Jag should be.
It even has little springs sitting on top of the bigger springs to give you a more comfortable ride. But everything's relative, really. I mean, it's not as comfortable, say, as lying in a hammock on a summer's day listening to wood pigeons. But it does have air conditioning and a head-up display and electric seats, so it is more comfortable than you'd expect.
In fact, it's better than you'd expect in every way.
I don't know, man. My car has
We
two
shouldn't be
modes. It's on and
surprised by
off.
that, because the last time something was designed and built quickly in a glorified shed in the Midlands, it was called the Spitfire. And it won the Battle of Britain. King James May. Ready?
Hang on. The Spitfire.
Yes.
It was the Hurricane that won the Battle of Britain.
Well, it just wasn't.
No, it just was. There were far more of them. It was easier to build. It was easier to repair. It was easier to fly. It was.
But that's like saying that a Nissan Juke is better than a Lamborghini Aventador
The
because it's
Nissan?
easier to build and there are more of them.
No, it's not like that at all.
It is.
The Hurricane was a much more stable gun platform in the hands of a novice. The Hurricane accounted for more enemy aircraft than all of our other air defences combined.
Yes.
It won.
But the Spitfire, okay, the Spitfire looked glamorous. So you'd look up from the sky and then that improved morale on the ground because people were going, oh, wow, look at that. We can't possibly lose
Yes,
this.
but morale didn't shoot down enemy aircraft. Hurricanes did.
Yes,
That's
I know, but
simply
if you've got a
fact.
small boy looking out the window, wow, look, there's a Spitfire up there and I'm going to join the RAF. And that's what we need. You want to fly a Hurricane because it looked like a sad basset hound.
No, it didn't look like a
It
sad
did.
basset. And anyway, the best fighter aircraft of World War II was the Messerschmitt 109. Everybody knows
Well, that
that.
didn't win the Battle of Britain, did it?
Well, to be honest, nobody won the Battle of Britain. It was a draw.
What? Where have you got that
It
from?
was a draw.
Chaps! Hate to make this whole thing sound like, I don't know, a car show, but can we get it back to the Jag a bit?
Yes, because I don't want to talk to him anymore about aeroplanes. 'cause-
Okay, remember the Jag.
Yes.
Is it a mainstream car?
No, if I'm honest, it isn't. They've only made 300 of them, and they're all left-hand drive.
What, so they went to all that time and trouble to develop
And expense, yeah.
and now they're only building a handful and they put the steering wheel on the wrong side.
No, it is very odd, but since I don't want to listen to him talking about Hurricanes anymore, I do think we should find out how fast it goes round the Ebola drone.
Didn't I just do this race twice?
Good start.
Yeah, my car is a nice Honda Pilot and it has on and off. That's it. That's why I need to brake more. That being said, you don't get stuck in the corner. Mash into it though. They should have just like made it textureless instead of wrapping it in bubble tape. That seems so dumb. Right, Turnip? That's exactly what I was thinking.
Anyway, that's the top 10 of our leaderboard.
It does look like it's just missing a
waiting
texture.
to see where it goes on. Or does it indeed get onto that list at all? Let's find out. Let's move it up.
Hang on a minute, it's faster than a GT3 RS. Good God.
I tell you, that is a really properly good car, that. It is the Spitfire of cars.
Hurricane.
Don't leave it.
It was
Hold,
the Hurricane.
hold, leave it, hold, hold, steady, and relax, and carry on.
Tonight, we are finding out, is this right? Tonight, we are finding out how the new breed of European pickup trucks would fare in the developing world. And we've learned that the Volkswagen is the best of the lot.
No, we didn't learn that.
Well, we did. It was the fastest and it was the most powerful.
Yeah, but that's not actually terribly relevant if you're in a country where there are more AK-47s than ambulances, is
Yes,
it, really?
but whatever, okay? Whatever. So far, we've seen what happens when the peace
That would be
ends
kind
and
of
the
funny,
dictator
Triangle.
is toppled and chaos ensues. And now we pick up the story.
can totally
of
see them
what
doing that.
typically happens after that.
Or like nobody has a 3D model for that car, so they just took a different car and like messed it up.
Okay, here's the situation. There's a power vacuum now. Foreign armies are pouring in, and it's our job to get this fuel to the nation's helicopter.
And then the villagers.
They have one helicopter.
Really?
That's what happens.
To that end, we have got to go from here to this forward operating base. And the first one there is the winner.
Me then. Having saddled up, we waited for the sound to charge. And then naturally, all set off in different directions.
Yeah. If I go through here, oh yeah. I am racing a pickup truck off-road in Wales to refuel a helicopter.
Cold bubble wrap, yeah. Oh, you're shitting me. That missed? Alright, you have to hit the fucking... Was that a goat?
I'm racing a pickup truck off-road in Wales to refuel a helicopter.
Via the loot boxes. Gotta get it exclusive in the loot crate.
Oh my god!
What? You can't say that. It's a Christian stream.
And right. This test, if you think about it, it is rather pertinent that we are filming this in the UK because a couple of years when Brexit has really caught up with us, there will be a civil war and we will need pickup trucks to destroy. The grip from the four-wheel drive system and the wider track and the
Shit me, really?
Absolutely really caught up with us. There will be a civil war and you will need pickup trucks to destroy.
Sarah, please take a seat.
The grip from the four-wheel drive system and the wider track and the Michelin Cup tyres absolutely wobbles your eye.
I got like stuck. It's nice to be racing on not a straight course, but it also is annoying that the checkpoints are like minuscule.
I think if I can get through this gap in the wall, I save having to drive all the way around the end of it. Here I come. Oh, I have a compass. This is a piece of cake.
I like how he's going super slow in the thing, and then we come in here and we're going like full speed.
Now we're alone viewers, I will admit I'm not feeling entirely confident about this. The 2.3 litre engine in my Mercedes is very robust and will last for 1,000 years. That's not what you'd call powerful. There might be a few aerodynamic issues as well. But anyway, I'm going to go in D.
Wasn't it down there? What the? Oh, there's multiples.
Rubbish.
They have funny accents in Skyrim. You guys like, so you're finally awake. How many checkpoints are there?
don't think that this Amarok is really designed for freedom fighters in Africa and the Middle East. I think it's aimed more at surveyors in England. I mean, it's got a laptop charging point
definitely.
here and leather steering wheel.
It's meant for more
Sure you need
drag
that
racing
kind
than
of thing in Mogadishu.
off-road racing.
Need to go west, southwest for a bit, but avoiding that clump of trees.
No way! You're not coming through. Oh no! Whoa!
Yeah, he's crossed up. Come on, Jerry, get him, get him, get him.
No! No!
I'm now in the lead. I'm doing winning.
I'm doing winning. That was a weird horn. No passing. Then why did he pass me?
Oh, there he made it. No.
No, that's the compound. Damn it!
There's the helicopter, and once again, the Amarok is victorious.
Quick refuel.
Is that barrel gonna...
What on earth?
I'm probably not going to get my freedom fighter badge now, am I, for that?
100% real. TM.
Well, him! And any minute now, he's going to claim he won this one as well.
He did win it.
Oh yeah, that looks like success.
We were told to deliver fuel.
We weren't told to detonate the nation's helicopter. Look at it!
What is the budget for our show?
Y'all want some cash?
Smaller than it was.
Yeah, not big enough.
That's an expensive thing.
Yeah, helicopter.
It's a helicopter.
There are no cheap helicopters.
Apart from that one now. It's beyond useless, isn't it? It's something else.
Great
oh,
truck.
don't pat it.
It's a good truck. If you have to have a pickup truck at a time of strife in your country, this is proving to be the winner at everything. I may have prevented the war.
How have you prevented the war?
Well,
the
because-
helicopter was there to stop the war by strafing the uprising villages, and now it can't do that.
No.
So now the whole thing is going to descend into civil war and chaos.
It is inevitable in the developing world that one day all pickup trucks end up being used as gun platforms.
Yeah, it's their destiny.
To die on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, every day you turn on the news and there's somebody standing in the back of a Toyota or a Nissan shooting at someone in a Humvee or a Land Rover.
And what we want to know is how good will our European trucks be at that?
Yeah, and most importantly, which one is best?
To find out, each of our pickups would be driven through a ruined town by a freedom fighter.
Where is there just an empty town for me to go
Whilst we
shoot
stood
guns
on the
in?
back, shooting at various targets. These included some big barn doors, a whole bus, and a selection of cardboard soldiers. James volunteered to go first.
You can go.
Right out to glory.
Look at him. The soldier of fortune. Dogs of war.
Not scared. The spaniel of war is what it is.
Oh, turn up. I would 100% doing a regular playthrough first,
I'm winning.
and then doing mods later.
Oh, I shouldn't feel so good. This is just brilliant. Easy.
There may be a couple quality of life mods. Oh no.
I have been clever.
Like long reach that you may want to use just to make it a little bit easier for you, but I don't think you need any, to be honest.
I'm winning. This is just brilliant. Easy. I have been clever. I'm winning. This is just brilliant.
Rambo May had missed all the barn doors, all of the bus, and all of
The game is everything. Yeah, yeah.
So, with a score of 0 to beat,
It's haunted.
Arnold
What do you mean
Hammond
0? I got all of
feeling
them.
Very confident.
Stand up. I am standing up.
Oh, he loves that.
Don't fire up.
Welcome to Richard Hammond's usual weekend.
Go! It is mighty. Yeah! Brilliant. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Brilliant. Oh, I was born. I shall be victorious. That is just. Thank you. Brilliant. Oh, I was born to do this.
Reload.
Brilliant. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It is mighty.
They used blanks in the show, did they? Wow.
Well, here's some more news.
I mean,
General Stonewall
makes
Carter
sense, I guess.
has gone off to get ready, but I suddenly remembered. Remember when we were in Jordan?
Yeah.
He can't fire automatic rifles.
No,
Do you remember?
because it's
Oh,
it's-
yes,
it's crossed
Toxin.
over, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's right-handed.
They do that all the
but
time.
left-eyed.
Yeah, so,
So
he
shoots from his left side,
Exactly, he's diagonal.
which means all the spent cartridges burn his arm.
Exactly.
Well, he'll be using a pistol, won't he? He always uses a
Yes.
pistol.
Actually, I wasn't using a pistol.
That's what I've got. A 50 cal. Lock and load.
I've been dying to shoot one of these in real life. No idea where I would be able to, but
Looking good. Yes. I think it's very good so far. Look at me. Yes, yes. It's staggering. Behold my genius! Yes, joy of joys.
the yellow port one.
He was very brave. It's incredible. Come on, let's go. I was very brave doing that. I was.
Is it just a loop? Is this the beginning again?
Come on. Right, splendid. How clever is that? Absolutely spectacular. I think it's very good so far. Bingo! Right, splendid. Excellent. I was very brave. Looking good. How clever is that? It's staggering.
Oh yeah, no. I agree with that, Turnip.
Yes! Another victory.
How'd you work that out?
I hate to tell you this, but you haven't hit the doors, which were the target.
How do you know I haven't hit the doors?
Because there's no...
Well, on that terrible disappointment for him, time to go back to the tent.
Yeah, I can give my honest opinion. I can't unnecessarily badmouth the game is what I can do.
You jammed an AK-47. It's famously unjammable. No one in history has ever jammed one until you came along.
Yes, it overheated.
That's because you were firing it into the air pointlessly when you set off.
That's what they're for. Weddings, funerals, exam results. You go outside, fire AK in the air. It's a joyous thing. They are the party popper of the developing world.
So never mind all that. I have the scores.
This is the
final
important
scores.
bit.
Jeremy Clarkson, you fired 2,600 rounds. And the number of targets you hit was 1.
You laugh, but it's one more than him.
It is.
It is one more than you, so I'm winning.
Wait, so hang on. It all boils down to how many targets I hit.
Yes, but you had a roll bar to hang on to.
I did.
Yep, he did. And he scored
Yes.
0.
Right. You really got nothing.
Yep.
That's it. Okay, so after all of that, what is our conclusion, gentlemen?
Can we do a sensible one?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, that Mercedes Nissan you had, it did have a wobbly back end, and I just don't think that's good enough, actually, in a pickup truck. I really don't. The Volkswagen is very good, but pickup trucks are working tools, and it's just a bit too posh. You wouldn't want to get into it in muddy boots, so I don't think that will work.
So
really.
it's the Ford then. It's the cheapest.
It is the cheapest, and it's, I think, the best looking, and it is actually the one I'd have.
You'd have the Ford.
Yeah,
So
and
we
you'd have
both
the
have
Ford.
the Ford.
Yeah.
We'd have the Ford. James, what would you have?
I wouldn't have a pickup truck.
Yes, I know, but in this test of pickup trucks, which one would you have? Which are you going for?
None of them. I wouldn't have one.
No, I know, but we're testing pickups. So which pickup truck of the three would you have?
I wouldn't have a pickup truck.
We've just spent, I don't know, 20 minutes reviewing these pickup trucks. The ladies and gentlemen would like to know which is the best.
Yes, I've come to a conclusion on behalf of the ladies and gentlemen, which is don't have a pickup truck.
James, you have a powerful imagination. Use it. Let's pretend. Okay, come with me on a journey. We'll warm your imagination up. Imagine you're an eagle.
Okay.
Visualize that you're flying over mountains. Can you feel it? Can you feel the wind in your feathers? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine you've got a pickup truck. Which one is it?
Why would an eagle have a pickup
No!
truck?
No, I mean, imagine. Okay, okay, imagine, James May, a pastoral scene. You got it? There's like rolling grassy hills, a few sheep around. You're a farmer. You're walking around with your dog at your heel there, sheep all around you.
Can I have Beethoven play?
Beethoven is playing, obviously, live. There's an old 5-bar gate there. An old oak tree arches over the gate. And under the oak tree is your farmer's pickup truck. Which one is it?
It's not there. I wouldn't have because I wouldn't have a pickup truck. Neither should anybody else. You shouldn't have a
Even
pickup
in your imagination.
My imagination does not admit a pickup truck. I'm not being stubborn. I know my mind.
Yes,
and I don't want a pickup truck.
And what I know is that you've wasted so much time not choosing a pickup truck and claiming that the Battle of Britain was a draw that we don't have time for the big celebrity duel between Adrian Charles and Howard from the Halifax ads.
Oh, no.
Exactly. And on that terrible disappointment, we must end. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
I don't know. It's a good. Look at him slide. I think it's an interesting idea. I mean, I think it takes, to a degree, some of the concepts that like Bandersnatch had with choosing your own adventure but interacting, and this isn't choosing your own adventure, but it is interaction. You know what I mean? It's in a different form, and it obviously doesn't affect the outcome. But I don't know. I'm not against the idea of games doing this. Shows doing this. And considering this is not one of the first, but it's one of the few things that are doing it. Something's got to be first. I don't know if I would personally have bought it, I especially because I don't know the show. this is my only interaction with the show, but it's not bad. Yeah, I agree, Turnip. I kind of want to see where that evolves into, and I think as much as they're competitors, this is kind of in that same batch, you know, interactive show. Maybe it combines to a point where, you know, depending on how well you do in a race or a quick time event or whatever. Oh, thank you, Ben. You know, the story branches.
Welcome, and coming up in this week's show, Abby is sideways on ice in a 911 Turbo. Richard drives Jim Clark's beautiful Lotus 25, and I nearly fall over. Yeah. Exciting looking show. That is all to come. Now.
Hang on a minute. Does that mean Howard and Adrian aren't coming on then?
No. We've got time. We actually begin with the French. Now, they don't make a sports car very often, but...
Not usually.
Nobody buys it. We've had the Venturi Atlantique, and then there was the Matra...
You'll see when I have to actually race. I'm not good at racing.
Sport. And all of them fell down the back of the sofa of history.
Yeah, but you're conveniently forgetting to mention the best of the French sports car makers.
Well, that's like saying the best of the airborne plagues. What is it?
No.
Best of the...
No, it isn't. There is one French maker that's been consistently good at making
I do have
sports
Grand
cars,
Theft Auto, yeah.
And they've made a new one, and I've been testing it. It's called the A110, and it's made by Alpine, a French sports car firm who have a history of hitting the spot. The original A110, for example, won the World Rally Championship in 1973. And it's that car that gives the new one not only its name, but
Challenge
also
me to what?
its looks.
Yeah, this is a really nice microphone, but it's fucking crazy expensive.
So, what we have here is a small, pure, no-nonsense sports car aimed squarely at the Porsche Cayman and the Audi TT. Go! The A110 is, in fact, a mid-engine, rear-drive sports car.
It's the same course, just backwards now.
On a clean sheet of paper. Concentrate, look through the bend. This is quite a complicated one. Ow! Oh no! This whole lightness and smallness thing cascades down in a sort of waterfall of pure joy. It is like a cartoon car. It should come with those little bubbles saying, hit, pow, bam. Yay!
Shit. Interesting music choice, too. See, what's interesting is with Amazon trying to develop games now is, do their licenses for Amazon Music and all that carry over into games? They might be able to really easy license music for games.
The chassis are made entirely of aluminium, and the reason for that is simple. It's lightness. And from that starting point, the Alpine engineers
It does need
nerded their way through the rest of the
Wreckfest
car
physics,
and
yes.
shaved off every spare gram they could find.
But I bet they don't want cars
So,
to be
thanks to Alpine's
damaged
fanatical diet regime,
because
this
of
car
the
is 300 kilos
advertising.
lighter than a Cayman or an Audi TT. And that has a profound effect. 0 to 60, 4.5 seconds. Top speed limited to 155 miles an hour. And then, when you get to a corner,
you find out just how agile this thing is.
Listen to it scream.
It's like driving a feather. The seats are half the weight of the ones you'll find in any hot Renault. The handbrake is built into the main calipers, rather than being separate, saving another 2.5 kilos. Even the stereo is a bespoke, lightweight design.
Shit. I haven't played BeamNG in a while. My problem with it last time was that there wasn't a ton to do. You know what I mean? It was fun to like crash things, but it's just like, all right, drive and crash, and that's it, you know? I've only done like half of their drift they want me to. Shit.
But even though the A110 is built to minimalist principles, you never feel like you're in some miserable Spartan track day car. It has aircon, sat-nav, phone connectivity, all the modern things you want.
This whole lightness and smallness thing cascades down in a sort of waterfall of pure joy. Lower weight means you don't need such big tyres, you don't need so much grip. That gives the car more feel. Low weight means you use less fuel, you make lower emissions. It's just win, 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 win all the way. This is actually the most intelligent car I've driven for years. And I love it for that. I love it.
But it's a bitch to repair. Got him.
So despite the ordinary engine, the looks that you're not sure about, and the high price, you liked it.
I did. I loved it, yeah.
Yes, but would you buy one?
I have.
You've bought one of those.
I have, and actually, so has Gordon Murray. I've brought a picture of him along. He designed the
He brought a
McLaren
picture
F1,
of-
so he knows.
Yeah, so it's the sports car of choice for old men with terrible shirts. So that's good to know.
Evidently, but now let's see how fast it goes round the Ebola drone, shall we?
Oh my god. Yeah, physics is a little bit lacking in this game.
Good start.
Oops. It's alright, who needs drifting when the walls just bounce you off of them? Abby's a new Stig. I don't know. It seems like they have someone different every episode, but I'm not sure.
Cross the line. Very good. Good driving. On form. Right, let's see where
Production
it goes
line
on
new
that
game.
board.
What, Satisfactory?
Will it go in the top 10?
Let's go on Space Doggo.
Oh dear, no it doesn't. Sorry, mate, that is dismal for a mid-engine car. It is.
Look,
It isn't about things like lap times. I've told you before, he who is first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Yes, but it's 15th.
It is, yeah. It is.
So?
It's the Romain
Doing all right,
Grosjean of
though.
cars, that is.
But you-
Grosjean.
Who's he?
He's a French racing driver, the 15th best Formula One driver in the world. In fact, you'd like him.
I already do.
Good. Good. So we've sorted that out. It's time for us to move on.
There's a new off-road four-wheel drive Lamborghini. It's called the Urus, and to find out if it's any good, I took the Grand Tour to Sweden, armed with some questions.
But yeah, if you're talking about Satisfactory, I did actually stream it Saturday night, Sunday night, Friday night, one of those nights. Saturday
Here's my
night.
first big question. If you build a car to tackle terrain like this, can it still be a proper Lambo?
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
The Urus certainly looks like a
Oh shit, I'll have to look into it.
supercar.
It's actually called Production Line.
With its swivel-eyed styling, it appears to be every inch a Lamborghini. But is it?
It's got the fucking car farts.
Those turbochargers may be a little bit annoying on the road, but here they're giving them a low-down torque that I need to get up this hill. No!
Oh my God!
I like how the snow is a barrier. Okay.
That's not do. Oh, dearie me.
Drive my foot into the floor! Oh
Fucking S turns are killing me.
Oops.
This turn coming up. Shit. Okay.
This is the first Lamborghini to use turbocharging and the first to have an automatic gearbox. And what that combination means is there's a very slight and rather un-Lamborghini-ish gap between putting your foot down and it getting going. And when it does get going, there are no screaming histrionics.
Sure, there's a bit of popping and banging from the back.
It does. The road surface didn't feel different than any other road surface
You
I played.
can't hear that inside, where everything is muted and refined.
I can see the Pope in one of these.
So, it's quiet and a bit hesitant. And it has snazzy diffs and a clever traction control.
I don't like yellow cars, but this one doesn't look too
And the
bad.
biggest carbon brakes ever fitted to a road car, so it's safe as well.
However, there's no getting
Yeah,
around
this was
the
developed
fact
by
that
Amazon.
I'm currently driving on snow and ice in a car that has 641 horsepower rampaging around underneath its bonnet.
Which means that actually, it's not that safe at all.
Is he gonna fucking wreck it? Oh, I'm gonna wreck it.
There's no manual locking differentials. There's no low-range gearbox. All you can do is fire.
So the problem with the Epic launcher is the parent company that ended up buying all that is a foreign company that's not really very good. They seem to harvest data. Oh, don't fuck, and all that stuff. But on top of that, I don't know. I seem to be in disagreement with the devs on the way that they're handling their PR and stuff like that. So I don't think I'm gonna get it on the Epic launcher unless something crazy happens and ends up making me be like, holy shit. But I don't know. Maybe when it comes to Steam, they have a 1-year exclusivity. I would consider it. But yeah, I don't know. People are upset because like it was on Steam and then they pulled it off of Steam to make it an exclusive on Epic, and they got paid some money, and they're joking about getting paid money and being like, oh yeah, we got so much money and all this stuff. And it's like, really, people are upset that you're moving over to another launcher, and instead of like trying to talk to people and be like, yeah, no, it's better because XYZ, you're just like, yeah, we're getting paid. Like, I don't know. It just didn't seat well with me. But that being said, I did try the alpha and I did enjoy it for what it was. I wish they kind of released more of it, because basically what happens is if you signed up to be an alpha tester, they chose like a certain number of people and slowly distributed keys over the course of a couple months, and then everybody else got access to a different version of the alpha.
That is Lambo Land, that is.
I don't know.
Shit. So, the Urus
on,
looks
Eustace.
and feels like a Lamborghini. It's also practical. The boot is massive.
It's a trunk, sir.
Inside, there's space for 5 6-footers. It's a nice place to be as well. And all that's great. Which leaves us with one more thing to answer.
I don't know. The only real reason I can see is they got paid to move over to Epic. That's it.
Is use a snowplow to create a racetrack on this frozen lake.
Please give me wonky physics.
And this is what we have planned. I'm going to try and overtake this, a 4-wheel drive Porsche 911 Turbo, which is being driven by the Grand Tour's racing driver, Abby Eaton. Have you seen this crack?
I hadn't noticed that before.
Look at the state of this.
You're the heavier car, aren't you?
That's 2.4 tons, and I weigh half a ton. Are you not worried about that?
I haven't got my seatbelt on, so if it goes under, I can get out straight away.
Seriously?
Yep.
Before the duel began, I had a few practice laps on my own.
Oh, it's wonky, all right. I just want to play around with the ice physics, so I have to race?
I love speeding. Hurry up! Drive carefully. Yep. Very good.
Get a bloody move on. Look at that for a tidy line.
Oh yeah, loving that.
That's will do.
What's the matter? You're not into the generic upbeat music that we got going here? It's-
Oh God, that looks tricky.
Skrillex made this for us? Wow, holy shit.
Oh my God! Look at that for a tidy line.
Yeah, look at this for a tidy line, guys. Just off in the snowbanks. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not really worried about it anymore. Already got the gold.
It may not be able to get as far up a ski slope
Kevin
as a Range Rover,
McCloy.
but for doing this, it's better.
But would it be good enough to get past Abby in that Porsche?
There she is. There she is.
Who's
The
this?
bell has sounded. The race is on.
Now we'd find out what's what on our specially designed track.
Make this car and those engineers had a good run into in Volkswagen's parts code. So the engine, a 40 V8, is from the rear exhaust air suspension is effectively demonstrated. The platform on which it sits and a lot of attachment is from the S7. So there's no
Why? Wait, why am I on? Oh, because I'm less than 100 meters.
drive close.
It sounds like they're getting ready to segue into popcorn.
Oh, my Urus is a bit twitchy. Something to take your doctor. It is quite scary through here. Oh no! Right, onto the straight.
I was at 99, but I...
Hammer! Come on!
How do they hear that bell? Maybe there's a radio.
For lap after lap, the big, heavy Urus clawed at the rear end of the 911 Turbo.
Oh, God! Nearly! No!
But eventually, I had to admit defeat.
I can't get past that 911, and that's just an end of it. But I can keep up. And in an off-road car, that is fairly astonishing. It really is.
Certainly, I can believe Lamborghini's claim that this is the fastest off-road car in the world.
I got paid for that.
That was your job.
It was work. Doing that is my work. It probably won't be the fastest off-road car in the world for very long, though, because both Aston Martin and Ferrari have got big SUVs coming out this year.
Yeah, whatever. Thing is, could you really tell people that you have a Urus? Because it sounds like a minor alien out of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But it does work as a Lamborghini.
Yeah. But no.
Well, this is excellent consumer advice.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gladly...
very clear, very clear.
The thing is, after I made that film, which was quite good fun, I came home and I thought, the trouble is, it could do with being a bit more Aventador-ish. It could do with being a bit more mad.
Are you saying you changed your mind?
Yes.
Oh, great. So Prime Minister Clarkson returns from the summit. I've declared war. But on the plane home, I had another think about it, and I'm not so sure now. I've changed my mind.
Exactly, that's what I've done.
Good. Well, since we're in such a sensible frame of mind, I'd like to move things on now with a brief history lesson.
Yeah, some of the mini games are a little short and cheesy, but some of them are all right. Mini games, races,
On
events.
April the 7th, 1968, a racing driver was killed in a Formula 2 race in Hockenheim, Germany.
Formula 2. What's?
Sadly, the driver's death was not a surprising occurrence, because such was the danger of the sport back then. He was one of 127 racing drivers who would die at the wheel that year alone. This time, though, the death sent shockwaves through the motorsport world, because it had just lost the man who was unquestionably the greatest racing driver of his day, and who many argue is still the greatest of all time.
Jim Clark has died in an accident during a Formula 2 race in West Germany.
It was a terrible shock to everybody. It really knocked us all back. If there was anybody who was not going to have a fatal accident, it was Jim Clark.
I don't know. I said this earlier,
He drove
but
in such a way that he just didn't do.
I think it's a interesting leap between games and video. Again, akin to what Bandersnatch did, you know.
Broadcaster announcing the news of Clark's death asked his listeners to turn on their headlights as a mark of respect, and the freeways lit up. Such a huge global fuss would not have sat easily with Clark, because this shy, modest man, the son of a Scottish sheep farmer, was never one to trumpet his own skills.
I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion, but I was curious to find out what it was like to drive a car fast, to drive on a certain circuit, to drive a certain type of car.
Having cut his teeth in sports car racing in the late 50s, Clark's speed and talent was spotted by Lotus boss Colin Chapman, who signed him for his Formula 1 team in 1960. Clark soon set the motorsport world alight, especially in this car. The Lotus 25, in which, in 1963, he won his first F1 World Championship.
Oh my God! I am sitting where Jim Clark sat! Go, go, go!
Am I not meant to drift in these types of cars? I don't know.
Are you ready?
A minute 18 per lap. No, I'm already at 45 seconds here.
Oh, here we go. Unleash the beast!
That's one of the cones I hit earlier.
This is dangerous because of you. Oh, for God's sake.
Still got a gold.
This is electrifying. These were not.
I'm not sure what the difference between Formula 1 and Formula 2 are.
They only made 210 brake horsepower for 1.5 litres, but they were still good for 180 miles an hour. Oh!
Thanks to its revolutionary monocoque chassis, the 25 was
What?
stiffer
What's that?
and lighter than any
Sorry?
other F1 car.
Is it a Christian
Meant
stream?
It wasn't just fast on the straights, but quicker through the corners too.
This is gonna kill the fucking bit rate. I hope you all enjoy the fucking Static City over here.
Oh my God. That is just the best.
You gotta be hitting 80 coming out of that turn? Damn.
Try it now. Oh God. That was terrifying. Come on. Brilliant.
78. Why didn't I get a silver? That's above 75, no? Or is it the lowest? No, because that worked.
And in the 1963 season, Clark
Monocoque chassis is an aircraft or vehicle structure in which the chassis is integral with the body. Huh.
Winner is Jim Clark. Nobody could possibly catch him now.
But
What's going on, Manic? How you doing, man?
1963 was just a warm-up for what was to come. To get a true picture of Clark's genius, we must look at another year, 1965, when he hit heights no driver had reached before, or has done since. A modern Formula One driver does 21 races a year and often complains that's too many. In 1965, Jim Clark raced in 63 races. Some of these cars look similar, but they are all completely different. In a car like this, he'd do Formula One Championship. He raced in the British Formula 2 Championship and the French Formula 2 Championship in this car. He raced in the Tasman Series, a sort of Australian Grand Prix for Down Under, in this car. And then there's this Lotus Cortina, in which he decided to race in touring cars. And then if all that wasn't enough, he decided to go for the Indy 500. First up was the Tasman Series in Australasia.
What's Australasia?
15 races, Clark won.
I think it's pronounced Australia.
Then it was back to Europe for the British and French Formula 2 Championships, both of which he won.
Jim Clark led from the start. Winner is Jim Clark.
Get off the racetrack!
F2 races,
You ran over.
He was jumping into his Lotus Cortina and racking up touring car victories. Go! Oh, yes!
Again with the fucking brain, though.
Oh, my God! Right, we're all set. Come on, come on, come on.
Oh, shit.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't get chat. Rip. Australia, New Zealand, and neighboring island. Interesting. I never knew that. Does it look like a sports car? No? Wait, who's in the driver's seat? Oh, it looks like his face is on his chest. That's just the shirt.
Oh, for God's sake.
E6, would it be better to stick with 9?
Oh, no.
Because to be honest, I haven't updated yet either.
Give it everything you've got.
What?
Oh my God.
This really is.
Wow, I'm doing terrible.
Go, go, go! This bit is really scary. Time to play.
All right, let's see if we can actually do a real lap.
All
right, that was not a bad lap.
The Indianapolis 500 has been called the greatest spectacle in racing.
America's most prestigious race would be a tough challenge. Oval racing at higher average speeds than he was used to against seasoned Indy veterans. For the Indy 500, Clark raced a specially developed Lotus producing just shy of 500 horsepower. However, although he already had a Formula One world title to his name, the Scotsman's CV cut no ice with the sniffy Indy officials, who made the upstart from across the pond take a rookie driving test before he could compete.
It's an actual race course this time. What's going on, artist? How you doing? I'm sure this is eating the bit rate like nobody's business.
Come on, keep going.
Come Indy weekend, the upstart from
I've been grinding my gears. Yeah, I've been pushing them to the limit.
Front row. And then, in the race itself, Clark up against America's finest oval racers, won by just over 2 minutes.
How is he fucking winning?
Jim Clark, first European to win at Indianapolis since 1916.
This is sponsored, yeah. The gameplay is mediocre. The overall presentation is pretty nice, though. It's interesting to see it cut in with the show, you know. Some of the gameplay is just kind of like hold this trigger at this point to go, you know, like.
He did it without thinking. He didn't know why.
Could be better.
Driving in this style the way he did. In the period that we're talking about, we had 1.5 litre cars, 200 horsepower. If you drove the car too hard, you would scrub the speed off. And if you lose a bit of speed, it's very difficult to actually make it up again. And that's what Jimmy had the knack of, keeping the momentum of the car going. I don't think that any of the modern drivers could have driven the car anywhere near as quickly as Jimmy did, because he was just so precise.
I hate these the most. What? That counts? Does he sound like he's being like tortured?
Come on, come on, come on.
I don't even give a shit anymore. Alright, Space, that was a bit. I got the toilet award. The problem with this is they're like, you know, full speed, and then you can't actually go full speed and not bump all over the place. So you gotta like do a really shitty like half-speed shuffle so you can get to the end without bumping into anything. And no, it's not. They tell you to go fast, but
ability to coax speed out of the car, Clark also possessed another vital skill.
A lot of very good racing drivers died in Lotuses because the Lotus was a very fragile car. But Jim Clark was so smooth that he never put too much stress on the areas of a car that would give up.
But don't think for a minute that Clark was one of those drivers that could only win in a perfect car. One year at Spa, for example, he was leading the race when his gearbox started to let go. Did he give up? Nope. Instead, he drove the rest of the race, and we're talking 160 miles an hour in the wet, with one hand on the steering wheel and the other holding the gear lever in place.
in the wet.
And he still won. By nearly 5 minutes. So let's just sum up Clark's season of 1965. Of the 63 races he contested, he won a staggering 31 of them and was on the podium a further 8 times. He was now seen as the greatest racing driver of all time, in demand the world over. Yet this shy Scotsman chose to mark the year's achievements with a modest celebration at his hometown back in Scotland. The next 2 years,
been going all right, artist.
by contrast, were a disaster, with multiple mechanical failures denying him another championship. However, in 1968, driving the Lotus 49, another game-changer from Colin Chapman, Clark took the first win of the year in South Africa and looked set for another dominant season.
Congratulations, Joe. This is absolutely splendid effort. Okay, thank you very much.
And then, on the weekend of April the 7th, Clark had a choice of 2 races he could compete in. One at Brands Hatch, the other a Formula 2 race at Hockenheim. Fatefully, he entered the German race.
April the 7th is a bad day for me. He wasn't happy. It was freezing cold and damp, misty. We could not get any heat into the tyres. Couldn't get any temperature in them, no matter what we did. Jimmy said to me, "Fuller, do not expect anything from me today. Just keep me informed with the pit board, where I am, how many laps to go." That's the last thing he said.
On lap 5, Clark's car suddenly speared off the track at 170 miles an hour. When he died, he was just 32. But in his short career, he had racked up some truly incredible achievements.
Pretty sure zucchini doesn't make you
In
tear,
Formula
but
1, he won 25 of his 73 races, which in percentage terms puts him way ahead of Hamilton, Vettel and even Schumacher. In pole positions, he had 33, which again in percentage terms makes him second best of all time, just behind Fangio.
He was the benchmark. That was it.
Most of what I was able to do in motor racing was done by the manner in which Jim Clark drove, and I just followed him.
He was a gentleman. He was a gentleman and a gentleman.
The game's making his head. Rip.
Because it'd be nice to have him.
All of that's amazing. What I find truly amazing is how many championships he took part in. I mean, can you imagine Lewis Hamilton getting out of his Formula One car and saying, I haven't got time for any interviews because I've got to go off and do a touring car race? Exactly. Just wouldn't.
And he did. The other thing that's worth remembering is back in the early 60s, if you went to Australia, if you flew to Australia, that meant 8 stops. Yeah. And there were no flatbed, there weren't even any movies.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he'd get off that aeroplane, do a race, win it, obviously, then get on another aeroplane straight away to France to win a race there.
No, it is astonishing. I mean, everybody has a favourite racing driver. I'm sure everybody here does as well. It's, you know, it's the Senna, Schumacher, Villeneuve, Romain Grosjean, Fangio. But if you use maths to measure a driver's greatness, you have to conclude it was Jim Clark. Good night.
Well, another episode. Oh, that was good 2 episodes of the Grand Tour. We're gonna move on to some Factorio. So, why don't you give me a moment and let me factor over to that. No, that's not why. That's not why I was sponsored. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna move over to Factorio, and I'll be back in a few minutes.